While we're waiting for me to finish the silver tone cabinet that I'm working on, and I am working on it, and I hope to have number 6 in the series uploaded this weekend. It's been a lot of work, you know. I want to take my time and do it right. So to give you a little something to watch while we're waiting for all that to finally end, I thought I'd show you a project. This was my first antique radio restoration project I ever did fully, a full restoration. It was an Atwater Kent, 1936 Atwater Kent 856, and it started back in 2009. And there's the chassis. It was just a ready. It was just there was so many mouse turds in this thing. I paid for a pound of mouse turds to be shipped through the mail. The guy shipped the turds, everything. He just stuck it in a box and shipped it to me. Did a good job of packing, but boy, I'll tell you what. My wife, she did, a few of those mouse turds fell out on her table while I was opening the box, and she just freaked out. And women, what's a couple of mouse turds now here and there, Anyway, that was the chassis. Just totally rust, a total rust bucket. I wound up stripping this thing down completely, 100%. I mean, took out the sockets, everything, and de-rusted it and had it chrome plated by my buddy Wade. And this was the cabinet. Here's another shot of the the chassis. Boy, it was just terrible eaten up. I didn't even know if I could fix it, but I wasn't going to give up. And here is what the cabinet looked like. Now the cabinet was in real bad shape. Also, a lot of the veneer was missing. Pieces of the layers of plywood were gone. It was separated here, right in this area. Cracks everywhere where the wood had been glued together. Bad shape. Just awful. Anyway, I just kept plugging away. I did this on the Antique Radio Forum. It took several months to do it. And it was a step-by-step procedure, photograph by photograph, and folks really liked that. I guess that was the first time it had ever been done on the Antique Radio Forum, and they liked the results. Anyway, once it was all done, this is what we had. This was the restored 856 right here. And this was the back side. You can see right here where the chassis was chromed and everything was shined up in the transformer. Everything was painted and clean. New wiring, 100% new wiring. However, unfortunately, I had to go with a permanent magnet speaker. Now this permanent magnet speaker is still in the radio and it plays well, and I had to add a new audio output transformer for it. And I had to rewire the whole thing to make it take a permanent magnet speaker. That's no small task, by the way. Anyway, the guy that sold me the radio had removed the speaker and sold it separately, to milk a few more dollars out of it. Good business decision on his part, but terrible for me. But I went ahead and bought it anyway. And I was kind of hoping I could find an original speaker for it. Well, yeah, you could get them at that time. They were selling for $100 to $150. Well, I wasn't going to pay $150 for a speaker, or $100, or even $90 or $80. It just wasn't going to happen. So I went ahead and converted it over to a permanent magnet speaker, gave it to my youngest grandson, the Karate Kid, and he has it in his room, and he plays it and he likes it. From time to time, he's no great interest in it, but I kept looking for an original speaker, kept looking for it, and the other day, this is what I found. Right here. An original speaker for that Atwater Kent 856, and I'm going to restore it or get it back to shape, and I'm going to get the radio back from my grandson, Little John, and I'm going to go ahead and install this speaker in his radio and get rid of that permanent magnet speaker. Now I just got done checking it out. Here's the we always worry whether or not these things are going to work when we buy them. There's never any guarantee. So let's see if we can get some sound out of this thing. I am proud to say that this speaker is salvageable. Here's what the cone looks like. All of it's good with the exception of this one little area right here, and that's going to be an easy fix. First I'm going to put a little bit of super glue along here, right along that very edge, just a few dabs. Then I'm going to push from the rear and get that back up in there until it sets, just like that, and it'll be mostly fixed already. And then we're going to kind of put everything back in place and put a little dab of super glue here and there to kind of hold it. Just a couple of dabs. Now this is the fast drying super glue. not that gel. This is the fast drying because I want it to dry quick. I don't want to have to sit there in my hand for 20 minutes holding that thing until it dries. It will dry quick, and then we'll go ahead and use some of this dryer cloth and some of this liquid tape. I bought a brand new bottle, and you'll see how that works out. Some of you have already seen me do this, so I'm going to be working on that today, having a little fun. With the super glue holding everything in place, I was able to take some of this liquid tape and run along the edge here a little bit and kind of glue it a little bit better, because the next thing I'll be doing is taking the old liquid tape and I'll be painting along that line. Once I get a good solid base and it's fairly solid, then we'll take the dryer cloth that I cut and we'll put that in place and put the liquid tape over the top of it. Again, many of you have seen me do this before. Works good for me. Alright, let's start putting on the old liquid tape on there. Just kind of smoothing it out. That's all I'm doing. Just like so. Try to get it as smooth as you can. It won't be perfectly smooth. I mean, there's not much you can do about it. Just kind of lay it in there. Like so. And then we'll just let that dry. Get a little bit more here. I don't want to get too much. All I'm looking to do right now is create strength along the seam of the break. And we got a little bit of a crack right there, see it? Go ahead and lay that right there like so. Alright, let's just go ahead and let that dry now. Well, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and stroke this out. I have a little torn spot right there that's going to take a little extra effort. It's not the cone, it's this flexible stuff here around the rim. I'm going to go ahead and smooth this out real nice and let it dry. That should solve my little speaker problem. Well, that's it. She's solid as a rock all the way around. I don't have any more rips, no more tears. It should work fine once it's hooked up. However, even though we got a little noise out of the speaker when I hooked it up to the battery, there may be some rust down in the voice coil gap. I don't know. I'm going to have to try to work on that. I think it might be stuck. And until I get it unstuck and get it functional, I'm not going to do any more work on this speaker. I want to remove these metal strips, clean them up and paint them. And I want to clean the backside, the speaker basket, get that cleaned up and paint this and get some new wiring on. But I'm not going to do any of that till I'm sure that the speaker is going to function. So that's it with the 856 Atwater Kent 856 speaker deal I've been working on. I hope to have part 6 of the silver tone that we're also working on uploaded this weekend. Maybe Sunday night. I've got to go out of town Saturday. So if it's not up Sunday night, I'll do my very best to try to get it up Monday. But I want you to know I am working on it, and we'll see it soon. So until next time, everybody, this is John.